Welcome back to the deep dive, and what a month it's been in the world of competitive football. We're diving deep today into COPACCHAI Super July Challenge Cup knockouts. Seriously, this period delivered, well, everything. High stakes, totally unexpected upsets, and comebacks that you just have to hear about to believe.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We've been dissecting the sources from these tournaments, covering the knockout stages of the COPACCHAI Challenge Cup. And, for anyone maybe less familiar, the Challenge Cup is this key regional tournament. It's the pathway, really, to the Elite Cup, which is the absolute top tier in COPACCHAI football.
Right.
So today, we're going to pull out the key moments, the standout players, and those really compelling narratives that shape this incredible July. We want to make sure you get all those aha insights, but, without feeling overloaded.
Okay. Let's unpack this then. We've got two major tournaments to break down for you. The Men's North Challenge Cup and the Women's North Challenge Cup. So yeah, put on your commentator hats because we're about to revisit some absolute classics. Let's kick things off with the Men's North Challenge Cup quarterfinals. We saw some, pretty dominant performances right out of the gate, didn't we?
We certainly did.
Kenny Dured, representing Levedia Mariana, they really showed their strength, beating Isles of Isles from Colonia with a convincing 2-0. And CS Shaka from Visé, they also won 2-0 against Ishalba, another team from Levedia Mariana. Honestly, that game, the scoreline could easily have been wider, maybe 4-0.
Those were definitely power plays, yeah.
Yeah.
Set a strong tone. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The first true surprise. That came in the game between Baihina from Riz and Lasha Burin from Brinja, that's pronounced Avibrinja.
Right, Avibrinja.
Baihina had this fantastic group stage, looked really strong. Lasha Burin, meanwhile, they were widely seen as the major underdog. And yet, they pull off this incredible 3-2 win. Kept that underdog story not just alive, but really thriving.
Wow.
That match, maybe more than any other in the quarters, just perfectly showed how unpredictable knockout football can be. Form sometimes just goes out the window.
Absolutely. And rounding out those quarters, Ferenc, another team from Bizea, they lost a really tight one to Cashel Uno from Colonia. It was a real nail-biter, ending 1-2. Decided by a super clutch late goal from left-back Bahamaini. What was it, the 82nd minute?
That's right, 82nd minute. That kind of moment, yeah, it can redefine a whole season for a club.
Definitely.
So moving into the semifinals, this is where the drama just escalated. It became almost, cinematic. The match between Kinide and CS Ayaka, it turned quite violent, actually. SAG started strong, though. 2 penalties converted within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, their striker, Arkadas Madari Pelagia, put them 2-0 up. They looked completely in command at that point.
Unstoppable, you think?
But despite that early lead, it was Ayaka who just inexplicably lost their composure as things heated up. First, their center back, Mihat Kaplan, sent off right at the end of the first half. Then, to make matters worse, right winger Corey Cretu saw red at the very start of the second half. 2 men down early in the second half of a semi. I mean, for a team in that position, it's an almost insurmountable challenge, isn't it? What's going through a coach's mind then, tactically, psychologically, down to 9 players?
Oh, that's a critical question. When you're down to 9, the tactical playbook basically goes out the window.
Yeah.
It stops being about clever plays, becomes about sheer survival, discipline, trying to hold a shape. And for Ake, you have to think the psychological weight of those red cards, plus the pressure of the semifinal.
Yeah.
It just became too much. They went from being totally in control to just being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And that's a mental collapse just as much as a physical or tactical one. Conversely, Kinide, they reacted phenomenally. They grabbed that numerical advantage with incredible focus and drive, turned the score around completely to 3-2. Eka, just mentally and physically spent, couldn't find an equalizer. No way back.
What a turnaround. The other semifinal was, thankfully for everyone's blood pressure, a bit simpler.
Much simpler, yes.
Lasha Burin, whose Cinderella story had carried them that far, they were pretty convincingly dominated by Cashel Uno, 3-1 the final score. That brought their incredible underdog run to a definite end.
So this set up a truly fascinating final, a real clash of diametrically opposed narratives. You had Kinide on one side, this historic team from Levedia Mariana that had an absolutely terrible last season, finished dead last in their league, avoided relegation only because the league expanded, pure luck, really.
Right, bit of fortune there.
But then somehow, almost miraculously, they win their national cup to qualify for this Challenge Cup. I mean, that's a redemption arc writ large.
Huge turnaround.
And their opponent, Cashel Uno, the undisputed biggest champion in Colonia, making their first ever Challenge Cup appearance. and they're already in the final. What stands out to you about that matchup, given those wildly different backstories?
Well, for me, it's just the sheer contrast and maybe motivation. Cachalounho has that new kid on the block energy, but they're also established winners back home. Kiniderid, though, they're playing for pride, for a complete turnaround from last season's disaster. It's redemption versus debut glory.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And maybe unsurprisingly, given the stakes and the stories, it was a fantastic game. Cachalounho looked like they had it sewn up, honestly, holding a comfortable 2-0 lead by the end of the first half. The trophy felt like it was already heading their way, their debut final looking like a triumphant march.
It really did. But once again, we saw Kiniderid unleash this unbelievable reaction. A comeback for the ages, truly. They equalized within just 20 minutes of coming back out for the second half. Completely wiped out Cachalounho's lead with this furious assault.
Incredible intensity.
And the winning goal. Pure individual brilliance. It came from their reason striker, COPACCHAI. He was Kiniderid's main signing, remember?
Right.
Brought in specifically to fix last season's problems.
The big investment paying off.
Exactly. He used his fantastic pace, just blew past the defender, scored on a one-on-one against the keeper, 88th minute. Kiniderid's whole journey just exemplifies that transformative power of, well, strategic signings coupled with this unwavering mental strength. They didn't just win, they engineered a complete cultural shift, proving that even one key player like Kaya can redefine a team's entire potential.
Kiniderid are your champions. What a story. Resilience, smart recruitment, execution under pressure, and they'll debut in the Elite Cup next year. To go from rock bottom to the top of the Challenge Cup, it feels like the blink of an eye. It's a massive testament to their newfound character. But if you thought the Men's Challenge Cup delivered all the drama July had, you'd be mistaken.
Oh, definitely not.
Let's pivot now to the Women's North Challenge Cup. It delivered just as much, maybe even more, drama and just jaw-dropping moments. Okay, quarterfinals. Jasmine from Ilaria beat Years Gizua from Colunia 1-0, thanks to a penalty. A tight one decided by a single spot kick.
Yep.
Lillehammer from Luvedia Mariana. They also scored a penalty, but they did much, much more. Beat Semiana from Reese 3-0. A far more comprehensive win for them.
Right, and the dominant CF Sapan from Fizia, they also showed their class straight away. A clinical 3-0 win against Amaryllis Lilies from Reese's. The only team from Reese's to actually advance, kind of defying expectations, was UCS Ladies. They surprised CS Sapaika, Fizia's other team, with a 1-0 win. And again, thanks to a crucial penalty, this one scored by Ronwyn O'Connor. Brownlee's really playing a big part in those early rounds, huh?
Seemed that way, yeah. The semifinals kept the excitement going. Lillehammer were on the front foot again, looked incredibly strong, beating Jasmine 4-2. That match featured a sensational hat-trick from Reese Evans, although her third goal did come super late, like 96th minute after the match was pretty much decided. Still, a hat-trick in a semi, always impressive.
Always counts. In the other semi, UCS Ladies were undeniably brave. You have to give them credit. They fought hard. But CF Sapan just proved, beyond doubt really, that they were the most consistent team there. A real, well-oiled machine. They secured their final spot with a commanding 2-0 win. No doubts about their quality.
And so we arrived at the final, but honestly, no one could have predicted what was about to unfold. It was CF Sapan, the consistent powerhouse, against Lillehammer, who'd shown those flashes of brilliance. Mariana Brulaku, CF Sapan's striker, their star player, didn't actually score herself, which was maybe a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, unusual for her.
But she was the absolute focus of all their attacks. Completed 2 crucial assists for the team. Sapan looked like they were going to take it comfortably. Seemed like they were just cruising towards the trophy.
They did seem in control. But Lillehammer, showing amazing tenacity, they managed to get one back, injecting just a sliver of hope, you know. Then, dramatically, totally against the run of play, it felt like, they found an equalizer. 83rd minute. A late strike that sent the whole game spinning into extra time.
Wow.
That dramatic equalizer. It highlights such a critical point in knockout football, doesn't it? That shift from belief to desperation or from control to panic, it can happen instantly.
Absolutely.
But for Sapan, it also showed how a top team can absorb that kind of momentum shift and still deliver. They showed this ruthless efficiency even under immense pressure.
And that, my friends, is where history was well and truly written. Lillehammer, you'd think they had the edge, right? Buoyed by the huge morale boost from that incredible late goal. The narrative felt set for them to complete this improbable comeback. But no, it was Sapan displaying this almost cold-blooded efficiency who scored right in the 3rd minute of extra time.
Just like that.
The script just flipped completely again.
That quick goal in extra time just threw the whole balance of the game off its axis. Mullhammer, now desperate, went all-out attack, just throwing caution to the wind, trying to get level again. But honestly, they just didn't have the defensive structure, the consistency to pull off that kind of high-risk strategy effectively.
Exposed themselves.
Completely. Sapon capitalized mercilessly, scored one more before the end of the first half of extra time. That pretty much guaranteed the title right there. They took the punch and delivered an absolute knockout blowback.
And the second half of extra time, Lillehammer just utterly collapsed. They were completely unrecognizable from the team that fought back earlier. Sapon just smelled blood, capitalized mercilessly, piling on 3 more goals for a stunning 7-2 victory in the end.
Wow.
A truly historic demolition in a final. 5 goals in extra time. It wasn't just a win, it was an absolute beatdown.
It really begs the question, doesn't it? Has there ever been a match quite like that? With such an explosive, totally one-sided extra time period, especially in a major final. CF Sapon, look, they're one of the most consistent women's teams in all of COPACCHAI. They're no strangers to lifting this trophy. They won it back in 2023.
That's right.
This dominant performance sends them back to the Elite Cup in 2026. And you have to think they'll be trying to go one better than their runners-up finish in 2024. They're clearly a team with a point to prove. Showcasing that consistent dominance when you combine it with clinical execution can just overwhelm anyone, even after a huge momentum swing against you.
And that wraps up our deep dive into COPACCHAI Super July. What a month it's been for both the men's and women's North Challenge Cups. We saw everything, didn't we? Underdog triumphs defying all predictions, incredible comebacks from the very brink of defeat, and then, yeah, those absolutely dominating performances that just left no doubt whatsoever it really was a July for the record books.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these tournaments just showcase the sheer unpredictability, the raw excitement of competitive football at its absolute finest. Kinderhead's amazing journey, from last place in their league to Challenge Cup champions. And CF Sapon's historic, explosive final performance, especially in that extra time.
Unforgettable.
They're clear testaments to it all. It shows just how quickly fortunes can turn, how a team spirit can either completely crumble or just soar unexpectedly. And how those critical moments, whether it's a red card, a last-minute equalizer, or that single devastating goal in extra time, they truly define a competition. They engrave it into history.
So what does all this mean for you, watching these incredible stories unfold? The question maybe for you to ponder now is, what truly makes a champion? Is it that consistent dominance, the sheer power we saw from CF Sapon for so much of their run? Or is it the ability to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, to stage that unbelievable comeback when all seems lost, like Kinedera did so spectacularly?
It's a great question.
And what do you think these incredible results mean for the Elite Cup next year? Do they signal maybe a changing of the guard, or just highlight the amazing depth of talent across these leagues? Something to mull over as you go about your day. We hope you feel a little more well-informed and definitely entertained by these thrilling stories. Until next time, keep digging for those insights.